Hello, America, and to our friends around the world. Welcome to the Common Sense Show. We are the show that's freeing America one enslaved mind at a time. In just a minute, I'm going to show you a clip of an interview I did with Patty Greer and our special guest, Laura Eisenhower, and Chris Burris, who's a researcher for C60 Evo. And speaking of which, they're the sponsor for this show. Look, there's a few products I take that have really increased my longevity, barring an accident. I've turned the hands of time back 25 years. I feel like I'm more alert. I have a better memory. I'm more active. I don't have pain like I did. And it's just absolutely amazing what's happened to me. And I take 1 teaspoon of this every morning, and I swear by this. C60evo.com/Dave Hodges is where you go to find out more. And there's specials galore there because you're part of my audience. That's the slash Dave Hodges, C60evo.com/Dave Hodges. And listen, the benefits of olive oil and this particular olive oil specifically, this is tremendous. And I really encourage you to do this. Okay, we are going to talk about pushing the hands of time back, or at least retarding it. Now, there's a researcher out there right now, Dr. David Sinclair, went to Stanford. This guy is everywhere right now talking about we have reversed aging in mice. You've heard kind of the same thing here with what they've done with this product in peer-reviewed studies. And is it possible to turn back the hands of time? Or is it possible to slow aging down to an infinitesimal rate? Now, Peter Thiel, who I'm not a fan of, but I like his idea that we can meld man and machine, and I don't want to go the full boat he wants to go. I'm talking about pacemakers, okay, artificial hips, things like that. Those things are tremendous. And they've increased lifespans because the hip fall, you know what I'm saying. You know, by the time when you fall in older age, you have a 50% chance of dying in the next year. That's right. It's incredible the mortality rate that's associated with that. Well, we'd like to try to turn that back. Now, certainly you got to exercise, but I'm really telling you this is a tremendous product to do that. So we had Patty Greer on. Patty was a known ufologist in her day and really one of the top three or four. Tremendous. I remember, my friend Jim Mars and I used to talk, the late Jim Mars, and we did mostly Kennedy assassination stuff, but we talked about the UFO field some. I told him it was my belief they're fallen angels. He goes, regardless, Dave, something is there. And I said, yeah, I'll grant you that. There's too many stories for it not to have some level of physical reality. And then he mentioned prominently Patty Greer more than once. So, Patty, tremendous reputation. You're going to see her. This lady's 72 years old, and you'd probably guess she's 45 to 50. Fantastic. Laura Eisenhower is on with us, and famed researcher Chris Burris, who he's 57, and he looks like he's about 35. And the look is often how your organs reflect. And this correlation exists there in medical research. How you look does reflect your overall health. 100%? Of course not, but it's a good indicator. So, anyway, what I want to do is play this clip. And I think what you're going to find here is it's fantastic to hear these people of note talking about this. And they're so clear on their benefits of taking the product. But not only that, what else are they doing to increase lifespan? And I think this is absolutely fantastic and invaluable. And if I can give you some ideas that you go out and do, and if it makes your life at a higher quality, I feel like I've done my job. And that's the spirit in which I present this. So let's go ahead and play the clip of this, the beginning clip. It's not real long. And you're going to say, yeah, I kind of trust Patty. I know Patty. And certainly we trust Laura Eisenhower. So here we go. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Common Sense Show. My name is Dave Hodges. I'm the host. And thank you so much. Our podcast ratings are in, and we're still at the top 0.5%. You guys are awesome. Thank you for coming. And we have a big treat for you today. We talk about freeing America one enslaved mind at a time. Well, that also includes getting your health. And sometimes as we get older, I know we don't like to talk about that, but when we get older, sometimes we need some help with that. And so we've talked to you a lot over the last several months about C60 Evo and its great, great, great properties. Well, we have a special guest to go along with the C60 Evo crew that you guys know all too well with Patty and Chris. But we have Laura Eisenhower with us, and we're going to talk testimonials today. And I thought you guys would really find this interesting. And I got to tell you, I'll start off with my testimonial, okay? Um, my blood pressure is down about 10 points on both ends of the measure. In fact, I came in at 118 over 68. And my doctor was, whoa, that's teenage blood pressure, Dave. That was my physical. This is since I started this product. And then they did, the A1C and all that stuff. One time I'd slipped into diabetes. Well, I'm 5.6. And my doctor said, that's lower than me. And he was just shocked at this. Of course, I do work out too, and that helps. But all my other measurements, all my labs, perfectly normal. I mean, just absolutely not one flaw. Now watch, I'll walk out the house today, get hit by a bus. But nonetheless, I'm really blessed and I owe a lot of it to this product. And that's my testimonial. And this is why I really encourage you to get on this because it contains some great ingredients that increase mitochondria and all that other good stuff that we've talked about. But I want to turn this back to our guests and have them share their stories of how this helps. And so, who'd like to go first? I think
Well,
I
let me
know.
just interject on what you said. One of the things that you said that I think is really important is you're describing your labs as normal, and I don't think that's true. I think if you're talking about having the blood pressure of a teenager, that's not normal at your age, right? That's way
My
like so,
age, excuse me.
right? So there's a bell curve around people who have your years on this planet, and that's what the medical community calls normal. That's not what it should be calling normal. It should be saying like what's optimal, and it sounds like you're in optimal range. So I'm excited for you. I know you're also doing a lot of other work, and I certainly believe that C60 Evo is playing a role in that.
Well, it gives you energy too. It gives you mental clarity, but I like to take it before I go work out. I mean, I'm not bragging. I guess maybe a little bit I am, but I do a lot on the heavy bag. I mean, I'll throw 100 punches in under a minute, and then I'll do that 5 times over. So I'm doing like a 500 punch workout, and that's after I lift weights. It's either upper or
Nice.
bottom or low split. And I wasn't doing this 3 years ago. So I've really turned back the clock. I feel like I've turned back the clock about a quarter of a century. I've even started playing a little basketball too. And you guys know I used to play college basketball, so it's kind of like a dream come true to be able to go out there and do a little bit of what I used to do. And I owe a lot of it to this product. I know that. And then, taking good care of yourself and trying to eat right. But so yeah, I'm really fortunate, and you're probably right. I'm blessed in that my numbers are so darn good. In fact, like I said, my doctor just said your transformation has been amazing. So, and I just like I said, I'm blessed and I'm happy, and I get to do the things I want to do in life. And I hope a lot of people that are watching this will listen carefully to these testimonials and realize this could be you. Well, who'd like to go next with their testimonial?
You want to knock one down?
Well,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, let's do
Well,
this.
well, it's so wonderful to see both of you, and of course, Patty. We're in the same place. We're not in a different,
That line
It's
is,
yeah,
optical illusion.
different
I
time
know.
boxes, actually in the same location, which has been wonderful. Yeah, I've been using C60 Evo for quite some time, and I definitely feel the difference. My endurance, my physical strength is super strong when I travel a lot. I'm just like hiking, no problem, going up hills and mountains. Um, and it's in much more of a uh consistent way. Sometimes if I haven't for a while, it'll be hard the first day, and then maybe, I don't know, a couple days later, I'm like back. I do C60 Evo, and it's instantly. And I'm always like amazed. I'm like, shouldn't I feel a little bit more out of shape? I haven't really done much, but been working from home for quite some time. My ability to recover from long flights, lack of sleep, is stronger than I would expect compared to when I wasn't taking it. I'd have to like really sleep things off. I would be kind of like groggy for a little bit, and not, I don't know, not functioning as sharply and much vitality as I have been since I started taking it again. And I'm about to travel for an extended amount of time, and it's my favorite ally out of all supplements and herbs that I've ever taken because of the factor of the mitochondrial DNA. And I know how important that is. I actually do presentations about that, and learning about the product as I've been using it, it makes so much sense. I'm like, okay, well, that explains it, because it's not just the physical, it's also the mental clarity. And the skin products and the hair products, acceleration of hair growth, and skin being, you know, in pretty decent shape for my age. It seems to really protect me from the sun too. If I get sunburn, it seems to heal a lot quicker. Wounds heal a lot more quickly. So yeah. And when I was noticing myself kind of declining, I'm like, well, I'm just at that age. Boy, when I took C60 Evo, I'm like, it doesn't have to look like this.
That's right.
It's incredible. So very happy about it.
Well,
Yeah.
unfortunately, we hear that too much from our doctors. You're kind of at that age, when we start talking about decline features that we all go through. And I think eventually we all do get to that point, but I think that point is imposed on us much too early in life.
Oh, definitely. And I've always felt it was a program to begin with, but we do need, assistance. And this is very compatible with what the body wants. It just processes it so well. And when we think of all the other things that people are given at this age, there's a tremendous amount of side effects. And this
Good
is
point.
not the case. In actual fact, it brings a feeling of holisticness, wholeness, equilibrium, balance on all levels. So yeah, I can't recommend it enough, really.
Yeah.
Yay.
And I hear that from so many of my audience too that take the product too. Patty, I'd like to hear your testimonial. I know you're involved on the administrative side of this product, but it didn't start out that way. So let's talk about your motivation for C60 Evo and what
Well,
you're getting out of
it's interesting. Laura and I are pretty much the two survivors, in my opinion, of the real UFO field. Um, Most of the greats died in a very short period of time. We lost Stanton Friedman,
it.
Roger
Yes.
Greer, Jim Mars, a massive list, Dolores Cannon. Laura and I have dealt with some real crap, I will tell you, but we're survivors and we're still here. And the discovery of this rescued my life. I don't think I would have been here had it not been for this amazing molecule. But when I met Chris, I had just been dealing with uranium poisoning from a really creepy MK Ultra guy. It's either that or he's very mentally ill, but I'm guessing MK because he's kind of stickers. And I'm grateful for the C60 Evo molecule, but what it did was it prolonged my life when I was dealing with uranium poisoning. And I was really sick, and I was rushed to the emergency room in an ambulance. 4 days later, I flew to Texas to meet Chris and Robert, and we started the company. Now, I should have canceled, no doubt, because I was just in the emergency room. And because I took an ambulance, I had no ride home. So I literally had to hitchhike. I mean, what I went through was pretty stunning. And then 3 days later, I flew to Texas and met my partners. And when I saw the lab, it was massive. And I had seen a lab in Boulder, Colorado that was like a snowmobile garage that was full of chemicals and just terrible. But, I thought that's what C60 was. And ESS 60 in a real lab, a whole new field. So their lab was just huge. And now that we've gone so across the world with the products, they have mastered the lab into two buildings so that the manufacturing is being done somewhere because the molecule, when it's made right, literally floats into the air. So there can't be activity blowing it around.
Hmm.
And so now we've got dedicated space, but we're the only lab in America making ESS 60 in the world, actually, which is pure miracle molecule carbon 60 that won the Nobel Prize in
That's right.
1996.
That's right.
We
It
were the
did.
only lab making it back then, other than one in Russia, but we were down the street from the three scientists who received the Nobel Prize. My guess is they went down the street to Chris and Robert's lab But maybe they went to Russia instead to get the molecule. I don't know. And they were college kids, so they don't remember. But they were making an incredible product in college that has taken them into all this awareness, which is just mind-boggling what this product has done for people. And the fact that I'm still here and Laura's still here, true survivors of I called it the death of ufology. I think the field is, well, you said the Disclosure movie, you just went and saw it. How real was that,
Yeah,
Dave?
let me hold that for a second because I don't want to lose the important point that you brought up, and then I want to come back to this.
Sure.
Okay? But Chris, I'd like you to weigh in on this. You got Patty talking about this uranium incident that she has. Do you think that C60 Evo had any kind of role in her recovery, and if so, how?
Well, I think absolutely. There is research showing that this molecule can help protect against EMF radiation. And so when you're thinking about what is damaging the body, you're talking about two things typically. One is oxidation and the other one is inflammation. We have to be very careful talking about inflammation for FDA reasons. You know, if I come on and say, hey, we address inflammation, the FDA hears me claiming that we cure cancer, we cure cardiovascular disease. We are not making that claim. There's lots of research that we need to do, and hopefully we will do
Hmm.
to be able to claim around that. And so when you understand what it's doing at the mitochondrial level, I don't know if you're trying to cue me up for this for the one slide that we'll kind of cover today, or we can push that off a little bit later. But when you're reducing the negative impact of stress mitochondria, you should have systemic benefits, and you should have what we have, which are head to toe testimonials. So being able to deal with anything that's causing that inflammation and that that oxidation and that inflammation, and we'll say at least as it relates to exercise-induced inflammation, because that's what the FDA will allow us to say.
Okay.
That's going to support, the getting on the other side of that experience.
Well, I know that the regimen I had, the workout regimen, changing my diet and so forth, I know that helped a lot, but I really felt that this product was one of the factors that pushed me over the top to get me to where I am. I don't think I'd be back to the level that I'm at. I haven't gone out and timed myself in the 40, and I had a pretty good time when I was a kid. And I'm going to do that at some time. I'm going to tell you, I have a little secret here I probably should announce here. I am going to start training on September 1st for the following March to enter into senior Olympic sprinting, the 50 meter, the 100 meter.
Awesome.
Well, I was the fastest kid in
Don't
my high
laugh too
school.
hard,
I
please.
ran a 4.40. And the
Wow.
track coaches hated me because I played baseball instead of track. But don't be impressed with that. That was then, this is now, and whatever measure I can reclaim and have some fun competing, that's my motive for saying that. I certainly don't have any illusions about the state I'm presently in. I just I'm looking at it, I go, hey, look, I'm enjoying this now. I should go out and compete because that's what I liked doing so much when I was younger. So they go C60 right on. We're gonna later tell people, and I'll put this into every segment, how. Yeah, and I'll do that now. Here's the deal. This is a wonderful product. They have other products too. They have products for your pets, which is amazing. Can come in smaller bottles too, travel size, so you can get on the plane with TSA, excuse me. You really need to go and do this. C60 evo.com/Dave Hodges specials because you're in my audience. Check it out and stay tuned. There's more in this interview we're going to cover later. And boy, does it get interesting. Holy cow, does it get interesting. Hey, thanks for joining us here. God bless all of you. We'll see you back here next time and enjoy the product.